What low-status job actually made you wealthy? Mine was driving a septic tank truck for 3 years in my mid-20s, and I want to tell you that every person who hears me say that either laughs or looks uncomfortable, and I have never minded either reaction because both contain the same misunderstanding, which is that the job was beneath me. The job was not beneath me. The job was the best education I ever received, and I have a degree I paid $60,000 for that taught me considerably less. I took the truck job because I was 24 and in debt, and the listing said no experience necessary and paid more per hour than anything else I had applied to in 3 months. The owner was a man named Gerald, who had been running one truck in 1987 and was running 11 by the time I joined, and who had the specific calm of a person who had long ago stopped needing anyone to understand what he did for a living. Gerald taught me the job in 2 weeks. It was complicated in ways that weren't visible from the outside. Routes mattered, timing mattered, customer relationships mattered enormously because the people who called you were always in a situation, and how you handled the situation determined whether they called you again and whether they told their neighbor. Gerald said something in my first week that I wrote on a piece of paper and kept. He said everyone needs what we do and nobody wants to think about it, and your job is to make them feel like they never have to. He said that was true of more businesses than people understood. I drove the truck for 3 years. I was good at the Gerald part, the showing up on time, the calling ahead, the remembering that Zuleika on Callaway Street had a dog that needed to be inside before I pulled up, and Sylvester on the Henderson farm wanted to know specifically what nothing wrong looked like. I kept notes, not because I was told to, because remembering things made people feel like they mattered, and people who felt like they mattered called back. Gerald noticed me keeping notes. He asked what I was writing. I showed him. He said, "Have you thought about running your own route?" I bought my first truck at 27 with money saved from 3 years of a job everyone said was beneath me. 2 trucks at 29, 5 at 32. I had the Gerald conversation with someone I hired at 34, a man named Amadeus, and watched him write something on a piece of paper and put it in his pocket and understood the education had passed to someone else. I have 17 trucks now. I have contracts with 3 municipalities. Gerald retired in 2019 and called me the day he signed the papers. He said the secret wasn't the trucks. I said I know. He said what was it? I said you made people feel like they never had to think about it. He said there you go. Then about 6 weeks ago, Amadeus called and said a new company was showing up around the area. Matching trucks, professional uniforms, a guy going door to door with a sales pitch offering lower rates. He said a lady on Callaway Street asked if we were going out of business. The next day, I saw one of their trucks, spotless, full graphic wrap, bright colors, clean logo, the kind of thing that looks like 100 trucks even if they only have 5. The driver got out in a polo with the company logo and knocked on a door with a rehearsed approach. He didn't call ahead. He didn't know anything about the person behind that door. He didn't know about Zuleika's dog. My friend Maeve had connections at the county level. She said, "I already know about this. A man named Blaze Lauer has been meeting with people at the county office. He brought a presentation, slides, projections. He told them your operation was outdated." I sat with that. Someone had been talking about me in rooms I wasn't invited to. 2 residential customers had already canceled. I called Zuleika. She said, "I wasn't going to switch. But the new guy said you might not be around much longer." He said it real casual, like he was doing me a favor. I told her I wasn't going anywhere. She was quiet for a second, and then she said, "Good, because he didn't ask about my dog." I sat in my truck and thought about 15 years of doing it the Gerald way. Quiet, consistent, show up, do the work, make people feel like they never have to think about it. It worked so well, I stopped thinking about whether it could stop working. I had gotten so settled into what was right that I forgot someone could come along and make what was right look old. Then Maeve called early one morning and said, "The county is putting your municipal contract up for renewal, your biggest one, 3 months early."